Hey there, Tom here from Wellness Warrior Wednesdays, and I'm here to help you kickstart your wellness transformation this week, talking about persistence. And you know, my daughter this week, she was just so lovely. Like, we're in the pool, and she's like, we're not in the pool actually, we're at the beach, and she's got daddy torpedo, and she's torpedoed towards me, and she's put her head down and her goggles under the water, and she's kicked and come and swum over to me, and then she goes, look what I can do under the water, and she dives under the water and she starts doing these things under the water. You know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, my daughter was in floaties and couldn't swim at the beach or in a pool. And despite having, you know, done some swimming lessons in the past and like stop start, you know, it wasn't that much fun. It wasn't that much fun for her, because she got to go in with the floaties. But when we're at the beach, it always isn't that cool to go in with floaties, because you sort of could float away, you know, unless you've got, you know, your parent right next to you, you know, every single minute. It wasn't that much fun for Sonia and myself, because we always had to be in the water with her. You know, and not just looking at her, but we had to be right next to her, because, you know, she just couldn't swim. And so, you know, together, you know, about 3 weeks ago, I said, you know, that's it. Every day when I get to the beach or to the pool, I'm going to, you know, sit by my daughter's side, and we're going to do exercise, and we're going to persist, and we're going to, you know, I'm going to help her work on this. And, you know, some days the water was a little bit colder because there'd be some wind when you came out. You know, and other days it'd be like, oh, come on, Dad, I just want to go back into the pool where it's shallow and I can walk. But she persisted and she persisted. And, you know, I'm not that good a swimmer. Anyone that's known me growing up knows that I'm not a great swimmer, but I can swim. I can float for a real long, you know, half an hour, I float, you know, super around the time. And I can, you know, I can swim okay, but I'm not a great swimmer. But you know what I'm good at is I'm helping people get really good outcomes. And, like, you know, as a dad, I think that's one of my values that I have with my daughter. I was able to help her by just being there, holding her hand, supporting her through that little journey, words of support, words of encouragement. You know, by the end, you know, when she's going, daddy, torpedo, and she's torpedoing and doing all these cool things, it's just really exciting for me to see her being so happy. She persisted through some challenges and got to her goal. You know, and from time to time, you might hit some sort of challenge with your nutrition. You know, like you go to a party and they haven't got the food that you want to eat. Or like me, a couple of days ago, had my friend fly in from overseas, and so we stayed up late. We got home at 10, 11 from the airport, stayed up till 2 or 3 o'clock. We had a couple of beers. I woke up the next day feeling tired. Doesn't mean just because you have a little bit of an adjustment to your program that you don't just keep persisting through and, you know, getting the result that you want. You know, with persistence, you know, one day you do your own torpedo, and that's what I found. Like, you know, when I first started with my transformational programs and my detoxes and resets that I was doing, you know, over 10, 15 years ago, I didn't necessarily believe that it was possible. But then, you know, I got the result, and then I got another result, and each time I got a new result, you know, so now I've got this huge and awesome belief that it's possible for me and that it's possible for other people because I've seen it. I want you to have your torpedo moment, whether it's in nutrition, whether it's in lifestyle, whether it's in relationships, whether it's at school, in education, any aspect of life. I want you to have a torpedo moment. I'm going to have some really cool ideas on how to break through times when you're challenged in your nutrition or your health or your wellness. They're going to be coming up in the next, you know, couple of weeks. But for now, like and share the page. I hope that you've enjoyed this segment of Wellness Warrior Wednesdays. I've really enjoyed it. You know, later on this afternoon or tomorrow, I'm going to be back in the pool or the sea with my daughter having another swim. Up until next Wednesday, and in between those swims, here's to your wellness transformation. I'm Tom. Check you later.